Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Big Blue Offensive Podcast with Mike Trainer, Jay Jules, and John Depot. One. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Big Blue Offensive Podcast. I'm Mike. That's Jules. That's Sean. We got some breaking news for you. We got a whole bunch of Giant stuff to talk about. What a crazy past couple of days. But first, we have our winner on for the BBO NYG Podcast Pick'em Pool. Came in first place. It was tied between him, Rob, and a couple other guys at the top. Unfortunately, the Big Blue Podcast, we didn't do so well. We were in the middle of the pack. We were trying to win some of this money, but on behalf of the BBO NYG Podcast and Play Action Pools, Jeff, congratulations. You are the winner. $300 gets paid to you. I'm Venmoing you right now.
Hey, you're going to see the instant transfer occur right in front of your eyes. Like, boom! And also, Jeff, we wanted to not only congratulate you, but welcome you to the show. But thank you again for being on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Listen, how'd you do it? What's your secret, bro? How'd you pull this off?
I think it was pure luck that I got ahead in the first 4 weeks. I had some lucky ass picks, and then I guess I stayed in front. I held off Rob. Rob was on top of me the whole time. So
Rob tried to cheat. Rob all of a sudden was getting double picks. Thank God for our other loyal listener to tell us what he was doing. All of a sudden, Rob had he was up by 40. I'm like, that seems kind of impossible.
I saw that. I was like, damn, I'm doing really bad now. And then I was like, and then all of a sudden, I think I was back up, and I was a little confused, but whatever. It was all in good fun.
Yeah, but we figured it out. But we got you won that, but we got another pool going on. We haven't decided on a prize yet. It's probably going to be like a T-shirt or whatever, because it's only for the NFL playoffs. It's kind of similar to the pick'em pool, but we got it's deals with shares. You get 10,000 shares total, so you try to build your bankroll, and whoever has the most shares after the Super Bowl is going to win the prize. So if you want to just bet one out of the 6 games we got going on this weekend, 5 or 6. Well, how many, Jules? We got 6, right? Is that
6 on board? Yep. We got Monday night playoff night, or whatever the hell Monday night wild card night, whatever fuck kind of analysis they're putting there.
Tuesday calling out sick. So if you just want to lay it all on the Patriots, put 10,000 shares right away and try to double your shares, you could do that, or you could pick every game. But I guess we got to start with the NFL picks for the playoffs. I guess we'll go to Jeff first, and then we'll just copy him so you don't beat us, right? Is that the way we're gonna
do? That's it. You know what I mean? And look, wait, you just mentioned that too, which is something that's important, and it's definitely a little variation from the previous tournament we just had. We only have to bet one game, right? So I can literally just be like, I don't want to bet this one. I don't want to bet this one, right? Or I can say, you know what, put me down for like 1,000 shares. So it's going to get a little more complex as far as what we put into these things. But at least we don't have to pick every game. I think we can. We can maybe just make a pick. Can you what's the minimum bet you could put as far as the share is concerned?
I guess whatever you want, Jules. You could do, pretty much whatever you want. The only catch is there's a little fee. It's a small fee for the price of a cup of coffee. You got to pay like $5 so you're be able to be active in this pool. But listen, it's $5. Just throw it on your credit card. You know what I mean? It's one cup of coffee nowadays. You know what I'm saying?
Seriously.
So just contribute, help out us, help out Play Action, and hop on.
All right. Well, because I might be going with like a little one shares. Let's put one share on that. Like I gotta hang on to this. I gotta see how this whole thing swings. You know what I mean?
You say that now. You're gonna be out in the first fucking game. The very first game at 1 o'clock.
By Saturday night, forget it. I'll be like 10,000 shares. Let's do
it. And we got the over-unders on this too.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So
we literally can bet across the board on this finally. All right.
And the money lines.
A little interesting here.
And the money lines, and you get paid off more on the money line. So I think if you take like a big money line is like the Eagles upsetting Tampa Bay. So if you bet a bunch of shares plus 321, you get back quite a bit. So it's anybody's game.
And you can win that any time in the week, which is going to be interesting. So as this progresses later into the playoffs, we might be doing a lot more crazier things going on with this.
Oh yeah.
Can you parlay in this edition?
That it doesn't have a parlay option here, so it would have to be single games.
All right, single games, under overs, or the actual spread. Got it.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, let's go, man. Let's start this up.
All right. So the very first game, we'll make this pretty quick. Bengals and Raiders. Bengals are favored by 5.5. The money line is minus 243, and the over under is 49. The Raiders on the money line to win outright is plus 202. Jeff, who do you like?
Oh, that's a tough one. I'm gonna
stick
with. I've been riding the Bengals all year, so I think that Derek Carr, whatever his name is, Derek Carr.
Derek Carr, yep.
He luckily got in. They've had a lot of problems, the Raiders, so I'm gonna go Bengals -5 at home.
Bengals minus 5.5. I actually like the Raiders. Jules, who do you like?
You do. I knew you were going to say that. Like, I saw the look on your face when Jeff was like saying what he was just saying, dude.
I'm like,
I got to go with Jeff. Carson Wentz. Jesus Christ, I'm all confused right now. But Joe Burrow had the week off. They rested him. The Mixon was rested. Like they got a team that's going. They were red hot going into the end of the season. They beat Kansas City. Dude, I like it. I like the Bengals a lot. I think he was slamming home on this one. That might be my 10,000 share bet right there. No, I'm kidding.
Wow.
No, I don't know if I like them that much, to be fair. But I would definitely see myself putting something in, especially if I can get that line at 5.5. I think the line's up to 6 and 6.5 on like one of the other sports right now.
Okay. John, what about you? Who do you like?
I actually think that the Bengals will win, and I think they're going to be the first playoff win in like 30-something years, something crazy like that.
Jesus.
So keep things in perspective, Giants fans. It's
yeah,
we can always be the Bengals.
or the Dolphins. Dolphins been like 20 years. All right, the over under is 49. So I actually like the over too in that game.
I kind of do like the over if we were thinking about that maybe as a collaboration instead of like going at one another. I mean, even though it pretty seems like the majority are on the Bengals, but if you want to save, we can put like a small 500 on them and then like, another 500 on the fucking over or something like that.
Well, what was the over?
49.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to like contribute. We're gonna have to divide our shares up later, guys. You know what I'm saying? Whatever we want to do.
We just saying 10,000. So what are we gonna like 3,300 each?
There you go. There's your math.
And that last 100 just goes to whatever. Jeff gets that last 100.
All right, next game. The Bills and Patriots. Ooh, Bills are -4. The money line's -197 for Buffalo. The over-under is 43.5. Patriots money line to win outright is +166. I would never go against Bill Belichick.
And we lost Mike for crazy. That's coming up with the Bills and New England. That like he totally froze on that one.
I did. Oh shit.
Oh, Mike, welcome back, bro. So
I think Mike's audio just caught up.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, the internet connection was unstable. So you got Buffalo -4, 197. The over/under 43.5. Patriots money line +166. Jeff.
This is a classic field goal game. I'm gonna go Bill Belichick here. They might not.
Yeah, 4.
But he'll keep it close. Maybe even a backdoor cover. I'll take the Patriots.
Jules.
I think differently. I honestly think that this is their year. They have their number. The Bills, fuck New England, man. They screwed me this past Sunday on the best betting app sites. All right, I bet them hard against Miami. Thought they were going to run them, and somehow they fucking pull out that win. Hell no, I think New England got exposed in the last few weeks of the season, and teams really started figuring out how to beat them. And I think that's just going to continue.
John.
I think Bills. I think Bills get redemption. I think after 20 years of looking up at Bill Belichick, I think they're going to be able to beat him in the playoffs in front of the world.
This is a game I stay away from, so I'm not even taking it. All right, next game.
That one's a tough one.
It is tough. That is a tough one.
All right, next game. Tampa Bay's -8.5. The money line's -407. The over is 49. I'm just going to bet real life money on Tampa Bay this weekend, just to let you guys know. So obviously I'm taking Tampa Bay. Jeff, who do you like?
I'm not betting against Brady.
Never.
Even I went to school in Philly. I'm very familiar with the Eagles, but Brady wins by 13.
Yeah, you're very familiar with some fucking shitty Eagles fans out there, I bet too, man.
Yeah.
They're the worst. They're the worst kind of people.
The Phillies won it all, so it was a rough few years for me.
Were you the guy?
How many points am I getting here again? 8.5?
Yeah.
I think Philly keeps it close. I'll take the points.
Ooh.
And that's where I think it. Why? You're telling me that Brady wins by 7, right? Because the offense hasn't been looking that great. You're not guaranteeing that Leonard Fournette is back. They almost Antonio Brown, like he's going off and talking shit about Brady on podcasts now. I mean, like, dude, it's not that
Really?
Tampa. Yeah, he did. I'm not only that thinking that Tampa's gonna just fucking go and like smash them on fucking this week. Like, I don't like Philly. I don't respect their game, but they have been playing and playing teams tight and tough. So yeah, I could see them not covering. But again, I'm not probably touching this game.
Bro, fuck Philly.
All right, fuck them.
Fuck out of here.
Jeff, I just want to know, were you friends with that guy from Philly that ate shit? Didn't he eat horse shit like when they won the Super Bowl?
I don't know. I saw a lot of crazy shit in Philadelphia. So when the Phillies won it all, the streets were destroyed. So I wouldn't be surprised. I probably have come across them before.
They're monsters down there. All right, next game. This game I actually like a lot. The Cowboys are -3. Money line's -162, and the over is 50.5. Money line on the 49ers to win outright is +137. I love the 49ers this week. I've been riding them for the past few weeks. I love them. Dallas, I don't know. They could score, sure. I'll take the over in that game, but San Fran, man, they look good. Jeff?
Well, I don't know. I think Mike knows even though I'm a avid listener to you guys, to get another perspective, I'm a Cowboys fan. So,
We'll bleep that out.
Oh, get that out in the open.
But
Bro, I would have never contributed to this play action pool if I knew you were a Cowboys fan.
well, I want to know other people's opinions, so I listen. But I'm gonna take the Cowboys. I would probably take 75% of my 10,000 or whatever I have.
There it is. There it is. We know there won't be a repeat if the Cowboys lose on this weekend.
Yeah, they win by 2 touchdowns.
I got a lot of editing to do on this podcast.
What was the over again, Mike?
It's 50.5.
Oof. I do like that for some odd reason, but then again, I could see it where like they decide not to play offense for the first half, and then they start scoring in the second half. It's like a bullshit like 9-6 fucking and halftime score, and then they score like another 28 in the fucking second half or 30, and you still don't cover. But like you know, I get it. I could definitely see some craziness going on like that. I mean, San Francisco's been hot, man. It's gonna be an interesting game. I'll tell you right now, if Dak doesn't show up, the Cowboys will get beat. If Dak performs like he did in a couple of these last few games, right? And let's exclude the Washington game where they had like 10,000 guys on COVID. Yeah, right. You know, you take some of those games out of this down the stretch. Dak has been kind of dicey. And if he performs with a dicey game, I can see the 49ers beating him. However, how many points is it again? They're what favored?
3.
I mean, it's right there. It's like a home 3 too on top of it. I'm probably not touching this game, to be quite honest with you.
It'll be tough. I know who John's going, San Fran. So let's just move on to the next game.
Cowboys, get the fuck out of here.
There he is. All right, next game. This game I like a lot, boys. And I'll tell you what I'm going to bet in real life. But first, in real life. But the Chiefs are -12.5. Money line, they're -736, and the over/under is 46.5. I'm betting the Chiefs money line outright, and I'm taking Steelers with the points because you're going to win both bets. So you're not going to lose. So you're gonna bet like 1,000 on the money line to win like $5, and then you're gonna bet how much on the Steelers with the points so we get your real bet in this game? Same thing, same fucking thing. That's what I'm doing. Jeff, who do you like in this game?
Well,
and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, this past week I had the Chiefs -10.5, and they stopped on the 3-yard line and kneeled. So
me too.
Oh shit.
Me too.
Frustrating. But God, that's a tough one. I think Pittsburgh will cover the 12.5. Even if they might be down 20 or down 18, 17, and Big Ben scores a meaningless touchdown at the end. They'll cover the 12.5.
I can see that, Jules.
I mean, he burned me on the last time because I also not only did I bet Kansas City over the weekend, I had bet the Steelers in the back end of a parlay, and all I needed was them not to get blown out by Kansas City when they did. Right. So, you know, I'm a little pissed and bitter about that, but it's the playoffs. Tomlin's a hell of a coach. Things get different. I don't think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to run them, so I would take the points in this affair.
What about you, John?
I mean, how many times do we see like really crazy blowouts in playoff games? I just don't feel like that's going to be the case. I also think there's a pretty decent chance that this might be the last time that Ben Roethlisberger puts on a Steelers uniform. So I think the team is going to rally around him. I don't know. They're not going to win, I don't think, but you know, whatever, you know, you're in the teens almost in points. You're basically talking 2 full touchdowns. I'm going to go Pittsburgh here.
You go Pittsburgh. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the one that we literally, as a podcast, should put some kind of action on, whether it's a small percentage of our wealth, whatever it is, but definitely something.
Yeah. They're in Kansas
Is it
City,
our
right?
Moneyball pick?
Of course they are.
It could be. The Chiefs are in. The Steelers are in Pittsburgh, right? Because they don't have it on the website as like home or away on here.
No, Kansas City's the number 2 seed, so they're definitely home.
They're definitely
Yeah, and the Steelers got in because of a gift on Sunday night, and the fact that they came back in overtime to beat the Ravens. So yeah, they squeaked into the playoffs, which is sometimes a dangerous team, but I don't think they have it this year. Ben's on his last hurrah. It's going to be interesting. That's why I don't think the Chiefs cover.
All right, the last game. This is the Monday night game. We got a Monday night playoff game, man. It's pretty cool. Calling sick on Tuesday. It's the Rams are -4, money line -199, over unders 49.5. And if you take the Cardinals to win outright, it's +167. Who do you like? This is a tough game, Jeff. I'm going to you, man. Who do you like?
Yeah, this personally, I'd probably stay away from this because Kyler drives me nuts. I have him in fantasy. I came in last place because he was hurt.
Injuries.
After being in first after 3 years, then he was hurt. I'd just go over here. I mean, I'd stay away. If you had a gun to my head, I'd take the Rams just because they're at home. That's the only reason I have there. But I'd take the over in that game. I'm looking for a 31-30 win.
I can see that, Jules.
Listen, my opinion on this is exactly the same as Jeff's. I would stay far and far away because you don't know. They've both been Jekyll and Hyde teams, division game. I don't know what to expect. To me, the only value I kind of see in this is to take the Cardinals money line if you were going to mess around with it any which way. Because if they're going to win, they're going to win, right? It's not going to be like one of these like, heartbreaking losses for Arizona. I don't see that. Either they're going to come out and win or they're going to get beat by the Rams. It's going to be kind of like that kind of game. Right. And if they are, you might as well take it. Like the 4 points, I don't think it's going to make a difference, but watch. With what I just said currently right now, it'll probably fucking end up with a last-minute field goal and the Rams will win by 3, right? But whatever.
What about you, John?
Is Odell still on the Rams?
Yep. He's been playing good. Been playing good.
Yeah, I gotta go Rams here. I think they're the better team.
And the Rams it is. Well, that's the picks, boys. Well, later on in the show, we'll figure out how we're going to divide that 3-3-3-3 up there later. But Jeff, we just want to thank you again. Thanks for listening. Good luck in this pool. I hope you don't win. I hope one of us wins. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes, man.
Yeah, Jeff, listen, thanks for being on, bro. Look, stick to your guns, man. 75-80% on the Cowboys. Just get it out of the way immediately, right? Either you're going to be up big and loving it or you're going to be hating life, but you go and play the team you root for.
Yep, I'll be signing up right after we have this chat. But thanks for having me on, and I had fun doing the pool, so looking forward to the playoff one.
Absolutely. All right, man. Thank you
for
Jeff. Coming on.
Thanks,
Take care, guys.
Later, pal. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right
back.
Then
we get into this shit, my God. I can't wait to hear you two motherfuckers what you got to say about this shit. Lots of breaking news. Thank God the news broke right before we got on this podcast because I would have been so disappointed if that shit happened on Wednesday. But yeah, you know what's coming up. Unless you're living under a rock somewhere or you're working in a fucking coal mine, all right? You know what we're getting ready to get into when this fucking podcast comes back, baby. Let's go.
We'll be right back on the BBO NYG podcast with Stephen A. Jules. All right, we are back on the BBO NYG podcast. I'm not going to go first. I'm going to go last on this topic. Whoever wants to go first, just go ahead, get it out of the way. The breaking news, besides Gettleman retiring, we knew that was going to happen. Even if we had good season before, he's going to retire, go in the sunset. Originally, it was supposed to be Kevin Abrams taking the job and keeping Joe Judge, but Joe Judge has been fired today in a kind of a shocker, but not a shocker, the way the fan base and the media and everybody kind of reacted to the last 6 games of the season where we just kept getting blown out and quarterback sneaking on first downs. But who wants to go first on the Joe Judge firing today?
Well, let me just kind of set the tone a little bit here, right? Because like, you guys could go, you go back and forth. I think this should just be like an open forum at this point, all right? And to me, I was expecting a lot more of like a somber mood out of you guys. I mean, you're boys. You're guys. I mean, you were the ones that actually put me on the fucking fence for like the last 2 seasons that I had to ride out the Gettle train for the last 2 years. Oh, Gettle God, respect the Gettle God. Hearing all this shit, bro. He's gone. Thank God. All right. Because, dude, like, go on what you think he's going to fucking say that would make this argument even somewhat respectable. Okay. Because the dude, in all reality, had one good free agency, one good free agency and one maybe good draft. Besides that, there's still a huge question mark on his entire reign. Oh, don't worry, there's so much that can be said about Gettleman. I don't even want to fucking go on because I'll be on this fucking thing for the next fucking 30 minutes going on about how shitty Gettleman is, and thank God he's getting the fuck out of town, all right? So there's gonna be so many things that can literally be said. Look, you guys want to talk about this being a carousel of coaches, right?
Yeah.
That's something that we're gonna currently hear.
Yeah.
Well, weren't there 2 coaches that had to be fired under Dave Gettleman's reign? So now the dude had one good free agency, maybe a good draft. Out of 4 first-round picks, only one can we basically conclusively say was halfway decent and looks like he's got a promising future in Andrew Thomas, because the question mark's still on Daniel Jones. Question mark is still on fucking Saquon Barkley. All right. And Kadarius Toney, please, that looks like a fucking joke. So now he's going to hang his hat on the whole draft by saying that he got lucky that 2 players fell to him in the second round over the last 2 drafts, that he traded back and got us extra draft capital for this season. Okay. And outside of that, we got 1 player right out of 4. So the dude's 25% correct on first round draft picks so far in his tenure. He had 2 head coaches that he had hiring. He was part of the hiring for, get fired because they were abysmal. They made us the worst team in the NFL. And we're going to still hang our hat that Dave Gettleman deserves to be called Gettle God instead of Gettle Goof. Give me a break, bro. It doesn't happen. Shit is what is called results. Talk all the shit you want about injuries. Go ahead. I can't wait to hear the injury fucking thing. Oh, my God. But then you look at a team like the Baltimore Ravens, and yet they had mad injuries too. Lamar Jackson was running for his fucking life in week 1 because that offensive line was so suspect on the Baltimore Ravens. They were on their 4th string running back. They were pulling off guys off the street to come play for them, all right? And yet they still won fucking, 8 games? They literally lost 4 by like 3 points or less.
They lost the last 6.
That's the type of shit you want to see out of your team, not fucking some bullshit excuse. And listen, don't even get me started on fucking Joe Judge, all right? Yo, the writing was on the wall. He buried himself. No question about it. He absolutely buried himself over the last 6 weeks of the season. He took the fucking reins and literally wanted to say, oh, let's get Jason Garrett out of here. Well, that was the first nail he put in his fucking coffin, right? Because the offense went from worse to even worse, okay? There was no improvement whatsoever. We got worse, all right? There's no bottom line with that nonsense, all right? Then literally he starts getting brought out in the media, starts calling out ex-coaches, calling out franchises. It's like, bro, sometimes you got to look in the mirror. The Giants aren't good. You won fucking 10 games in 2 seasons. And you're over there calling out other franchises? What the fuck is wrong with you?
That was a mistake. That was a mistake. That was a mistake. I agree. It was a mistake. It was this mistake going after Ron Rivera. I get that. And you're right. Listen, you got a good point about Gettleman with, the coach carousel that's going on. I mean, we're becoming like the Jets where you hire like a coach every 2 years. Like it's like, you can't have that. John, what do you think about this mess?
Well, I got to make, what you call it, a confession. I had Jules on mute the whole entire time just then. So I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say, bro, you really did that? Then you're in more denial than I thought, bro. We're gonna give you a denial counselor.
Nah. Listen, I mean, there, I've said a million times, there's probably few people breathing on earth that were bigger defenders of this regime, Dave Gettleman, Joe Judge, than I was. I still don't think that I'll ever come off of the fact that this roster was better than 10 wins in 2 seasons. Perhaps it was the offense, perhaps it was Maris sticking, Jason Garrett on Joe Judge, players not respecting Joe Judge, injuries, whatever the reasons were. In a parallel universe, this roster with a different set of coaches, I think way outperforms fucking 4 wins in 17 games. But at the end of the day, results are results. You get blown out the way the Giants got blown out, where it was excruciating to sit in front of the television for 3 hours.
I couldn't watch it. I could barely watch it.
I watched every minute. Sat on the couch, just fucking, just.
I did. I watched most of the game too, but I watched the game, but I had other games going on to help, kind of balance me out from just absolutely losing my fucking mind. It was really tough to watch. I get everybody's situation, hey, we got to get him out of here. We got to start fresh. I'm going to be Mr. Optimistic. Whoever we get as a coach and GM, I'm going to be that optimistic guy. But right now, it's frustrating because once we fired Tom Coughlin, it was the beginning of the end, man. Like our ownership failed us, to be honest with you. Like, I don't think it was like so much of these GMs coming in and the coaches. It's like we just didn't get it right by letting him go and starting off in a direction we had really no idea what to do about it. So it kind of led us down a terrible path. But listen, whoever is the new guy that comes in is going to have a hell of a draft. And I don't know about you guys, but my coach that I want them to get is Brian Flores. And I'll tell you why. Like, dude, I know, Jules, you're going to fucking probably come at me like, oh, I don't want him. But he wasn't the problem with the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins is a really dysfunctional NFL franchise. They haven't been to the playoffs in like 20 years. At least we've been there and won some, games. But their GM in Miami is fucking terrible too. Like, he's kind of a fucking asshole. And he fired Flores, but Flores, don't forget a couple of years ago, he's the guy that wanted Justin Herbert. He didn't want fucking Tua. So maybe that had a little bit of friction going on between those fucking two guys, and he couldn't have let it go. But Flores just seems to get the most out of his players, So, like, I wouldn't mind him being the head coach. What do you think, Jules?
I mean, look, Flores is all of a sudden the popular name. The fact that he actually got fired this morning is an absolute joke. And if anything, right, because I know a lot of people are joking and saying that the fan base and social media pushed, Marin Tisch to fucking fire Judge. I don't think it's necessarily that as well. But if you look at Brian Flores, he had back-to-back winning seasons in Miami. What else do you want the guy to do? He had back-to-back winning seasons.
For real.
With a roster that was banged up for most of the year. Can you even name most of their fucking running backs? Myles Gaskin, who the fuck else was running for their team? Like, dude, like, stop, man. Devontae Parker missed mad games.
Flowers too,
missed games. I mean, bro, like they and he still managed to win 8 out of his last 9, and they fired him, which is the only reason that I'm hesitant right there. Because how does an organization fire a coach that has 2 back-to-back winning seasons, literally wins 8 out of 9 down the stretch, beats New England in a meaningless game, but it was a division rival and they know they fucked up the seeding by beating them? Like, how do you fire that? How does that dude wake up the next day and not have a job?
That's
what I don't understand. So to me, that's a red flag. I don't know why.
It's why I said it's what I said, Jules. Like, the coach and GM didn't get along. That's what it is.
Maybe. I guess they went with the GM over the coach, which to me doesn't make any sense, because yes, you need both of them to be, at least cooperate with one another. And obviously going into next year, if you don't see that, you got to pick one. And I guess they did. But to me, I'd rather have the coach that just literally took a team that's average at best to be in 2 winning seasons back to back. All right. Like, come on, give me a break. That's a hell of a job. And he deserved to stay a head coach, which just blew my mind. But I'm going to throw a name out there for you. It's another Brian. All right. And the crazy shit is that you could come at me and say that, oh, the Belichick tree, stay away from it, because he's got ties to the Belichick. He's got ties to Nick Saban, but he's also running a really good offense over the last few seasons. And that's Brian Dable out of the Buffalo Bills. All right. He's a hot name, offensive coordinator. Look, he's already interviewing for Miami, which he might end up at. He's got a lot of ties down there. Or he might have Chicago's interviewing him. And that was literally the latest up until the Joe Judge firing. So I know that something pushed them to make this fire, right? Like there was a reason. I thought initially, honest to God, I thought I was going to come on this podcast tonight. Judge was still going to have a job, and it was going to be us debating whether or not he should stay or go. And I honestly thought what they were going to do was they were going to hire the GM, and they were going to let the GM make a decision. Well, one of their boys or somebody within the NFL, in general, got to them and said, look, if you're going to make this move, do it now and get it done with, because there's no reason to wait. And they did that for a reason. Now, which one of these candidates they're pushing for the most, I don't know. But Dable's definitely a name that I would definitely want to keep in mind as far as for the Giants are concerned. I mean, look what he did for Josh Allen's career. He literally took the Bills offense that was literally ranked 24th, and in 2 years they went from number 2 to number 5 over the last 2 seasons. He turned around He may have saved Josh Allen's career, made him into a stud quarterback now. That speaks a lot of volume, man. And like he says the right things. He's a Western New York guy. There's a lot of shit that actually kind of lines up where you're bringing this guy in. And what is it showing is, the assistant GM over there, look, you might get a package deal. You could see Showing and Dable and even like Trubisky to come over, put some fire in Jones's ass, all coming over in this deal. There's a lot of truth to it. And there's a lot of we'll find out in the next, say, 48 to 72 hours. We'll see how the interviews go in Miami and things like that. It's going to suck a little bit because I don't know how much of a fan I am that the NFL is allowing these coordinators that are in playoff games to be actually spoke to about getting hired with other teams. I think it could be a little bit of a distraction. So it may not be right away this week, but in the next couple of weeks, we should see some hirings going on throughout the NFL.
Well, that was a lot of different fucking topics to try to kind of dissect there. I think, and I could be wrong about this, but the GM and the head coach in Miami, they did not get hired in the same cycle, right? They were off. Like
I believe
Flores was
so.
there.
Yeah, I think the GM was first, and then he was part of the Flores hiring, if I'm not mistaken. But don't now hold me to that. I don't have that for a fact as of right now.
Okay, I don't remember when the GM. We can Google it, but what I was gonna say is, in my head I had it that Flores was there, and then they were just not on the same hiring cycle. I think Flores was there first. As I say, it's a classic case of if you don't go into a season where you have, a new GM picking a new head coach, and you're not trying to, create a makeshift relationship, it's hard for that to be successful. And that's the first thing I thought of. Another thing that I thought it was really weird that they did Gettleman and Judge on 2 separate days. And I wonder what the motivation was behind it. Because if I remember correctly, Shermer and Reese, it was like within an hour we got alerts that they both got let go after 2017 season, or not Shermer, McAdoo and Reese when they got let go. I believe it was like basically right at the same time, right?
A little weird.
Oh no.
Oh, hold on, guys. I got to just jump in for a quick moment because I got an update from CBS. And it's not total breaking news, but I don't want to be discredited for what I had just said about Brian Dable about 2 minutes ago. Okay, literally, Cody Benjamin of CBS has broke that the 2 potential candidates so far for the HC job are Brian Dable and Jim Harbaugh. So that's what CBS is just literally breaking as we're talking right now. So listen, okay. I swear to God, I said Dable before that, and then my phone alert went off and it said Dable and Harbaugh, or else I would have had that mention Harbaugh in that conversation as well.
For whose job? For whose job?
Ever since. So literally, Cody Benjamin of CBS Sports about a few minutes ago broke that he said Joe Judge's firing has now made Jim Harbaugh, Brian Dable among potential candidates for the Giants' 2022 head coaching job. For us, New York Giants.
News, though. It's a speculation.
That's a speculation, but you know what? These guys got sources. They cite it all the time. And those are the 2 names that jump to the head of the list with all the candidates that are out there with Bieniemy and the coordinators.
There's a lot of
Jackson,
them.
But there's a lot of different people out there.
John, who'd you want as head coach? You never said. Who's your preference?
I don't have a preference, man. Just get the right fucking guy. I don't care if his name. We said this last time. Like, I don't care
get the right guy
is. I just get the right fucking guy. I don't know. Like, just because he sat in a room with this such and such, all of a sudden that means that he's going to be the fucking answer. Who fucking knows? And if you're a fucking podcaster and you think that you fucking know, like, if you're a beat writer and you fucking think you know what's right and what, get the fuck out of here.
No, you know what? Honestly, that's a decent point because no one really does know, right? No matter who you hire, no matter how good their resume looks, all that can act and look like the right feeling, and it can come in and it might not work. And then a candidate that you were like 50-50 on, all of a sudden, somehow he convinces it that guy might be the best one ever, right? So 100% that, you just don't know. You don't know who's going to come in with this personnel and be able to really make it work. It's a crapshoot. But look, if you're looking at
there's so much luck involved too with this game, man.
Absolutely,
that's for real. That there's so much luck involved with how many things have to go right for you to have like true success. Because the fact of the matter is, even if your team got into the second and third round of the playoffs, at the end of the season, you're going to be just as fucking upset, if not even more, than a team that ended up losing and not making the playoffs. Like, I think that's what sports is. Like, it's disappointment scattered through your whole life, with maybe 3 or 4 days of your life that you can celebrate a championship.
It's why men don't last as long as women. Is sports. That's that's the real tell. Okay,
you might be right, bro.
Yeah, I'm dead ass. I'm dead ass.
A wild amount of
ups and downs. Like, sometimes I feel like I'm gonna have a heart attack on Sundays. Like I fucking
wake up like nervous, like I'm about to go do stand-up comedy, bro. Like I'm fucking like nervous.
Dude, I've died inside. I'm dead inside after the past 6 weeks of watching the fucking Giants backups just fucking go on the field. That was pretty embarrassing. But listen, a new regime, man. So it's something to get excited about.
If the last nail in the coffin that really kind of like solidified Judge getting fired, and I just don't know why it wasn't done sooner. and that's obviously open for debate. Maybe they actually really gave him a chance to resell them as to why he should stay for a third year. I mean, that's currently what they said. They literally had a meeting with him Monday afternoon and then brought him in to fire him on Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah,
it had an additional meeting. That's what they went on record for saying. That's what Mara is on record for saying currently. So I don't know what it was, and maybe it was just the writing on the wall regardless, and they just wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt and hear him out one more time. I don't know. Listen, the fact of the matter is, guys, you cannot. I don't give a shit. You're on the 4-yard line. You cannot run a second quarterback sneak. You just can't. Like, dude, it's just mind-boggling. You can't fucking tell me that Booker T can't run into the line of scrimmage and get a no gain. Like, stop,
make more sense, though.
Yeah,
wouldn't this make more sense? I mean, that's like completely irrelevant, but wouldn't it make more sense that they brought Judge in on Monday for the interview, that like John Mara said, and then he wasn't the only interview that day. Maybe they interviewed a lot of the players in the locker room, maybe a lot of the team leaders, Logan Ryan, Daniel Jones, and maybe they were surprised with the lack of support that Joe Judge actually had in the locker room. Maybe they thought that, on the surface, when the boss walks in the room, usually people stop fucking around. So he's the boss. You may not love him. Sure, great, no problem. But the fact of the matter is, when your boss walks into the room, you're not going to carry on the same way you were, when you knew he wasn't there, or she, or whatever the story is. So I wonder if, from the outside perspective of John Mara, the team actually did love and support him. And while he was actually the coach in season, any conversations that were had between him and the players, whether it was like on the record, off the record, fucking in an office somewhere, just passing in the hallway, standing in front of the urinal, they were all supportive of him. So we had this like false sense of, support for the head coach. But then once they got rid of Gettleman and they continued to have the interviews with players, maybe like exit interviews for the season or whatever happens with him, maybe just called them, who knows? And there was a lack of support there. He said, you know what? This team didn't show up for 6 consecutive weeks. Sure, they didn't have a quarterback. Sure this, sure that. The team just didn't show up. They just gave up on the head coach.
What kind of message you sending? No kidding why Rob Sale jumped on being the Florida offensive coordinator job.
That's because he probably knew
that was earlier
today.
Yeah, but still, dude, the offensive coordinator job was open. We knew he had experience.
Get fired.
And now he's going down to Florida University to fucking basically be the offensive coordinator down there. He jumped ship early. I mean, dude, how are you displaying any confidence?
Who wouldn't go to Florida?
What's that?
Who wouldn't go to Florida? It's fucking nice there. It's fucking better than here.
You're still leaving the NFL to go to fucking college. Sometimes once the guys get up to the NFL, they don't want to literally go back down, especially for just an OC job,
It is a move up for him.
This is that, in a way, Judge pushed him out too. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, look, you're looking at an offensive line. This guy is literally doing the best he can after that offensive line was left in shambles with zero depth, guys. We went into this season with zero depth, and we know who to blame for that. But anyhow, with that said, the dude didn't even have confidence that they could fucking block. Joe Judge literally is saying in a press conference, well, the reason why we did the 2 quarterback sneaks is because of what happened in Chicago last week. Dude, you had a whole fucking week to prevent that. You can't come up with a fucking play in 1 week as a coaching staff to say, okay, we're our backs into the goal line and we're trying to get some separation. How do we avoid getting a safety? There's not that many safeties in the NFL throughout the course of a season. The likelihood of that shit happening to you with back-to-back weeks, bro, that shit's through the roof, man. You got a better chance of hitting the lotto. Like, give me a break, dude. So, it was things like that just slowly, just the writing was coming on the wall, man. We would have to replace a GM. We have to replace an offensive coordinator. We have to replace a fucking offensive line coach now. It's
you have to replace everything,
there, man.
It's a whole new team now.
Patrick Graham is not the defensive coordinator anymore. The chances that he's retained as the defensive coordinator are almost zero.
Right. It's going to be a whole new fucking team.
A new GM is going to bring in his own head coach, who's going to want to bring in his own defensive coordinator. Sure, if they bring in Brian Flores, and I actually want to touch on this when you were ranting before about whatever nonsense you were saying.
Oh, no, it's nonsense. Don't be sorry about that, goof. All right, come on now.
But if they do hire Brian Flores as head coach, it wouldn't be stunning for Patrick Graham to continue to be the defensive coordinator.
That's the only way.
Defensive coordinator in Miami, And Joe Judge had to give him a promotion to assistant head coach to pull him away from Flores to begin with. So if that ends up unfolding that way, then sure. But I am of the mindset that, a head coach who, listen, was way more successful than any of the head coaches that the Giants fucking had, and since Tom Coughlin, it didn't work out. He got fired. And if you really, 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 really believe in him, sure, give him the job. But I think that there's something to be said for a head coach taking a year or two away from, his first season as head coach, his first stints in the NFL as a head coach. Head coach is 2-3 years, whatever it is, doesn't work out. I think there's something to be said to kind of take a year off from trying to be a head coach, go be a DC somewhere, something like that, or an OC, whatever. I think he's a defensive guy. DC somewhere, see another culture somewhere.
Who's the defensive guy?
What? Flores.
Who'd you say is the defensive guy?
Flores.
Oh,
Brian Flores. Yeah. So, go be a DC for a team for a year or two, whatever the story is, or just a year probably, and then try to get back into the head coaching. But I think that year off to kind of really assess your, that chapter of your life and being able to learn and grow from it. I think that's important.
Because the reason why I was bringing it up and so strong with the whole DC thing is right. What's Joe Judge's future? The guy isn't going to get hired to be a head coach anywhere right now, unless he goes to a really small college somewhere, and maybe he can get a head coaching job there. And then what is he going to do? Yeah. You're going to go from being a head coach of the New York Giants for the past 2 seasons to back to being a special teams fucking coach? He doesn't have the history. He don't have the OC's credentials. He doesn't have a defensive coordinator credential. He's a fucking special teams coach. You know what I'm saying? What is he going to do, bro? I don't know, man.
Success. I could see him going to college and having success. I think there was a fear that his antics and stuff like that were perceived for younger players and stuff, and I think that might jive well with, a coach. He'll be a damn good recruiter, that's for sure. So if you get him in a good branded college, he probably would have success in doing something like that. I don't know.
Listen, that's what the Giants have obviously been trying to do over the last 6 years, right? With the exception of Pat Shurmur, they brought in these young guys that are supposed to be the new NFL. Look, that's what the direction was when we let Tom Coughlin go and we went with Brian McAdoo, right? It was the fact that literally he was supposed to be this young guy, vibrant, offensive minded. He's going to be the Sean McVays in the NFL and all that kind of shit. And it didn't work out. All right. That's just the reality there. McAdoo was a wackadoo, right? We know all that nonsense. So yeah, he had to go. And then you bring in your boy Gettleman, and you bring in all this other shit. He hired two head coaches that couldn't win, dude.
It's a person, Jules. Gettleman's a person.
Hold up. Let me ask you this something real quick.
He's a cancer survivor.
Real quick though. If anything, we gave up on Pat Shurmur too quick. And I'm going to tell you why. Who had their best offensive seasons under Pat Shurmur? Anybody? Oh, that's right. Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley had their best 2 offensive seasons as Giants under Pat Shurmur. So if there's anybody we let go early, it was probably him, because he was getting the most production out of your fucking Gettleman picks. All right. It wasn't until he started going down in that second year and all the shit started happening, the whirlwind of things coming around, we had to fire Shurmur, then all this shit took place. And then you bring in an unproven young special teams coach in Joe Judge, and you bring him in. And now you're expecting something to be completely different. Did he look like on paper or in the presence of the media that he changed the culture of the New York Giants? Yeah, the team looked more responsive than they did under McAdoo. The team looked more engaged than they did under Shurmur. But the reality was the results were the same. It's time to get the fuck out of here and move on. Gettleman fucked up, period. Okay, he fucked up. That's it. There is nothing that can be said to defend him anymore. You have 4 first-round picks, and only one of them so far is you hope is a guarantee, and that shit's still not a guarantee with Andrew Thomas, okay? And you take away all the rest of them, and then he got lucky where these players fell to him in the second round. I feel like last season he was doing everything he possibly could to not draft Ojulari in that second round, because then we trade back, if I'm not mistaken. We're doing all types of shit just to keep passing on him, and then eventually we fell into it.
The podcast is over.
What's that?
So when we start repeating ourselves, does that mean the podcast is over?
I'm just saying, dude. It's just it needs to be said because I've heard you repeat yourselves multiple times about how much Gettleman this and that.
Enough.
So it's a little bit on behalf of fucking guys that we know, social media, and everything else. That you guys deserve to hear it to make sure it sinks in. All
right, Stephen A. Jules. Jesus Christ, did you get all the fucking demons out tonight? Christ, all right.
We're going on a second lap with his points. So
listen, I was wrong, okay? I'll admit it. I was wrong about Gettleman. I tried to die on the hill for so fucking long. I just I mean, I was probably done with him for a while, but I just had to keep this fucking thing going, man, because I didn't want to cave into my fucking friends, to all the fucking trolls out there. I had to let this ride, man. So I died. All right. I died on that fucking hill of Gettleman and Judge. Okay. Now I'm a new person. I'm fucking resurrected. All right. Easter fucking came early. All right. But it would have been funny if Judge did fucking stay, right? And then the new GM was just like coming in and like, what are you doing, man? You're gonna ask, like, hey, you think you like this guy? And then he'd be like, if some candidate came in there that was really interviewing for the GM job and he said he didn't like Joe Judge, but he knew they were keeping Joe Judge, he would have lied. He'd be like, yeah, I fucking love Joe Judge. Like, what is he gonna say? He's not gonna fucking say that. I think when Mara went up to start interviewing the fucking, he's like, maybe I should interview other guys. And the mop guy was like, you really should fucking find a new GM. Once he heard the mop guy say something in the building, then how he fucking turned it in a different direction. But listen, like last year, I mean, before they hired Gettleman, remember this Giants organization, they only interviewed one guy outside the organization. That was Louis Riddick. All the other interviews were in-house. So usually the Giants promote. So they're definitely going in a new direction, and it's going to be from outside because, like I said on this podcast, like about 6 weeks ago, the plan was to have Judge being the coach and Abrams to take over. But once that got out to the media, did you see how the hate and everybody responded towards that direction? It made them change course. That's the only thing I worry about, because when the Giants organization starts listening to like the media and the fans, even though they may be right, maybe they're not, but once they start listening to them, then you're not in full fucking charge. And that worries me a little bit. You're becoming the Jets, where you just continue to hire and fire coaches. Like, that's going to fucking make a difference. So I'm a little concerned about that. But other than that, man, that's it. But I do want to get real quick back to the point about John, where he mentioned about the only possibility with Graham staying as a defensive coordinator. Maybe Graham put that word into like the organization master, but they do love him there. Maybe he mentioned something to like a John Mara or some of the people that work in the building. It's like, hey, Brian Flores got let go. Like, he's an interesting guy to work with. He'll get the most out of your place. You never know. You never know about those situations. I wouldn't mind Graham being back. So that's an excellent point you brought up there, John. That's a connection. We got to wait to see like how the dominoes fall. But other than that, man, listen, I'm the new Mike now. I'm the new Mike. Let's be optimistic, man. Jim Harbaugh, come on over, Jim. You want to come on, Gable? Come on, Gable.
Yo, listen, the only thing I would say about changing the course, right, and like, letting the media, maybe for the first time in this franchise's history, they decided to do that. And look at it this way, Mike. Let's say they do it, right? Now they changed the course and they did something that the Giants haven't done in forever, right? And it works.
I hope.
Wow. If it doesn't, they can turn around and be like, all right, motherfuckers, we tried your way. It didn't work. So shut the hell up and let us go back to doing what we've been doing for so many years. So you know what I mean? To me, it's like they got nothing to lose in that sense. Where like, look, we did everything the fan base wanted us to do. Here you go, motherfuckers. Merry Christmas. Point. Sorry it was late.
I don't believe
we shall see.
I don't believe this was a decision that was made because there was outrage. He's been getting letters about fucking Joe Judge. He knows what goes on these podcasts to some degree. He knows what goes on, especially in the national media and local radio and stuff like that, like, just sports radio and shit like that. Like, he's very well aware, and there was nothing that happened in the last 24 hours that he says, and in the 24 hours in between Gettleman getting fired, him potentially being retained, and then him getting fired. If I had to bet anything on anything, I would say that it was probably a handful of conversations with people on the team about Joe Judge and what they believed in the program and stuff like that. I think that's what it is. Because it just doesn't make any sense. Like, how it's not like he was away. He was in some fucking prison somewhere in Somalia or some shit like that, where he had no idea that the fans didn't like Joe Judge the last month and a half, 2 months. Like, there's no way then the last. Oh, he's like, oh, well, I didn't realize I didn't like him that much. That's just not how teams operate 99% of the time. Giants just aren't like that. So, I think it was more of a situation where they weren't 100% sure. They got some team leaders in there, and then they let him know this morning that he wasn't going to be retained. And to that point, I wanted to say this before with Rob Sale, whatever his name is, the offensive line coach.
Yep.
He accepted that job, and that was almost 100% was that deal was on the table already. He found out. Joe Judge called him, said, "You listen, shit's over here. They let me go. It means he's going to be looking for a new job, and he had a job on the table. Took the job as soon as he found out that the Giants weren't going to be retaining."
Yeah, I could definitely see
So
that.
it wasn't
too.
like
That's why,
I
like,
don't
when you were
believe
saying
in
how
him now.
surprised you were about this and you were shocked and all this shit. I know some of it was sarcasm, but that's why, to me, I was like, I don't know how shocking that was. To me, it was more shocking to see Flores get fired this morning on Miami. Like, to me, when I heard that, it was like, I thought that shit was like clickbait or something. I was like, what? Like, how do you fucking just beat New England? Like, this job. Like,
yeah, I was just shocked because, like I said, I thought that if you were going to be cleaning house like that, I feel like it would just been all one foul swoop. Everybody's gone all in one shot, like Jerry Reese and Ben McAdoo. Like the way that whole situation, Steve Spagnuolo, all those guys that were in there, just one day it was clean sweep. Everybody was gone. So I don't know.
Unless in a weird way, they really wanted your boy Getty over there to fucking like have his day to retire, right? So that was the official Giant news for the day, and then they moved on to cleaning the house and doing what they got to do. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's a possibility. I don't know. Right? If you want, they got to walk off as like into the sunset, so to speak. Like, all right, have your fucking moment. That 24 hours they could kill our organization one way or the other.
Well, I would just think that you want as least negative news around the team as you could possibly have. So to rip the Band-Aid off and say we're cleaning house, get it all done so that all the the talk radio fodder and all this bullshit that's everywhere and social media and all that shit, it's not okay all day about Dave Gettleman being gone and the celebration of Dave Gettleman being gone, and then all of a sudden the next day coming around, okay, here's your second pound of flesh. I don't know if that's the case, that's why they're doing this. They're caving to the fans and they're giving the fans their pound of flesh. Then that's the most scary thing that the Giants organization could be doing right now is fucking letting trolls fucking guide the influence of your team.
Maybe
it's not only trolls. Did you guys, did you not hear what Aaron Rodgers said on the podcast? I forget which one he was on. Literally, I think it was either yesterday or early this morning. Which one?
The McAfee show?
I don't know if it was it. Might have been McAfee. Right, I think it was actually. But like literally, they brought up the whole question about how if the Raiders would have taken a knee against the Chargers, they both could have made the playoffs. And Aaron Rodgers went on this tirade for a minute, and he was basically saying, "Yeah, good luck letting them fucking call in that play without trying to win a game to go to the playoffs. And I'm going to take a knee so we can both go to the playoffs." He's like, "I don't know what's worse, me taking a knee there so we both tie and we go to the playoffs, or me running a quarterback sneak on 3rd and 8. And he goes, "You know what? That shit ain't happening, bro." Like, it became a joke, man. It became a fucking joke. With like,
are you back on this play call?
You can't let it go, Jules. It's over. It happened a week ago. We had Jake Fromm.
One person.
We had Jake Fromm quarterback in our fucking team. It was a disaster, right? It was horrible. I was sick to my stomach. The Giants should just get it over with. They should just move back to New York now. That's it. Get
go all in at this point.
Leave that swamp behind, man. Come to fucking New York. Come home. Get new uniforms. Go back to the old school uniforms with the Giants logo on the helmet. That'll make me very happy.
Yo, remember now? Listen, look. I mean, I doubt that they would still do this now. But remember years ago that they started talking about when they were looking to do something with the Yonkers Raceway, which is now turned into like the casino and everything else. Prior to them doing that, the whole talk of the town was they were going to move the Jets there. Remember that? That was like a few. I mean, that was years ago, Mike. I don't even remember it though. Yo, I mean, is that still on the table? Bring the fucking Giants to Yonkers, dude.
Dude,
Never do
that'd be
I
sick.
know
Would
another.
never do
If
it.
anything, maybe the Aqueduct will put in a bid before that, and they'd move them over there, like Brooklyn or some shit. But you
Yo,
know,
come to
listen, one
Yonkers.
could hope, right?
Yo, hire that fucking guy from Yonkers, the head coach of the Raiders. He's from Yonkers. Bring him here to be the head coach, man. Get it over with. Come home, man.
You know, like, we got plenty of parking. You're right off on 87. We'll set up buses and shit to come get you from fucking Port Authority, like they do in New Jersey. Like, we'll set it all up, man.
That would be
I
sweet.
think MetLife make way too much money for that to ever be feasible.
Yeah,
They
oh,
make
that dump.
way too much money.
Yeah, that dump
Because-
makes a fortune.
They
Yeah,
got
I
they
mean,
got
it's
concert venues out there, and they got that fucking that mall that finally opened up, and the fucking ski jump that they got going next to it that's been there for 9.
Can we talk about something seriously important?
What? What's next?
Fuck
What's
all
the
this
stuff?
giant shit. Do you guys see Spider-Man yet?
No, I heard it's good. I heard it's really good.
Bro, I gotta say, man, I've been on a Marvel kick the last like week or so, maybe 2 weeks.
Don't
and
ruin it.
They fucking don't miss, bro. Everything that they do is just excellent. Like
That good?
truly.
Jules,
Dude,
did you see
I
it?
was sitting there.
I didn't
Yeah,
see
yeah.
Spider-Man, but I
Yeah, I
did
saw it
see
the
the
other
other
day.
one. What is it? Shang something like
Shang-Chi.
that.
Also,
Yeah, Shang-Chi,
really
yeah,
fucking good.
Defender of the Ring.
Don't
That
ruin
was
it.
actually really good.
No
It was
spoilers.
funny.
Yeah.
It like kept you entertained. It got a little
Yeah,
more of a
it was a
weird
fun
certain
movie to
points, but
watch.
whatever. Yeah,
It was
I
a fun
actually
movie
did.
to watch,
I have
like,
to agree
and
with
I
that. one.
understand like the whole PC, like gotta represent everybody, whatever. Like, it was a good fucking movie.
Yeah,
Period.
it was
That's
surprisingly
Whatever
well
the
written.
reasons were.
And the characters were actually pretty funny. It was entertaining. I actually
Yeah, it was
enjoyed
an
it. I
entertaining
really
movie.
got
It was
into
good.
it. And
I
they
think-
I like
definitely
how they-
foreshadowed a lot more of that character. So he's part of that MC. There's no doubt about it.
Oh yeah, they already
MU rather,
they
excuse
already
me.
said. So he's phase 4 it is. But anyway, like I don't know if you guys really like. I guess it sounds like you do.
Hell yeah.
But I'm just
Oh,
sitting
yeah.
there in the movie theater and I'm thinking like, do you guys know the premise of the new Spider-Man movie? Like how they pulled Tobey Maguire and his villains and Andrew Garfield and his villains, and they all
Yeah,
are
it's
in
a
the same book?
Yeah.
multiverse. Right? I
Bro.
thought that was pretty cool that they did that. Well, no,
It was-
I mean, it had something to do with some shit like that. But I get
Yeah,
all.
you're
I know the premise
you're
behind it.
exactly right. Like terminology and everything.
Yeah,
But just sitting there, like saying,
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire was Spider-Man literally over 20 years ago.
That's
Because
Wow.
if you
Crazy.
remember, bro,
That's wild.
crazy, dude.
that is
the-
fucking crazy.
They were supposed to release Spider-Man in early 2000 or in early 2002, I think it was, or late 2001. But there was a scene of Spider-Man webbing up helicopters for the enemy or whatever it was in between the Twin Towers because they fell on 9/11. They didn't want to show it, so they edited that whole part of the movie out, and then it was released later on, a few months later after they redid whatever they had to do.
Yeah.
So you're talking about this. That movie was made in 2000, 2001. That's when they were shooting that movie. That's 2022, bro. It was 20 fucking years ago. So you have this 20-year-old fucking thing from Tobey Maguire. Then it went to a new generation with Garfield, which I actually thought was an excellent Spider-Man. And then
Garfield
now
was
with
good.
the MCU, and just seeing how they tie it all together, the different people who Jamie Foxx is fucking in it. The guy who played Dr. Octopus. Fucking what's his name?
Yeah, but
Green
from the
Goblin.
original movie.
Willem Dafoe. Like these guys are in the movies 20 years ago. They got them in there just to have like the same characters. It was just like, this is the peak of like American cinema, like of this generation. Like as far as like as cool as you could make like a cinematic adventure, having 3 separate things, not even like designed to be together, so flawlessly and like coolly executed. I was honestly, I was super impressed.
When you say
Super, super. I thought it was gonna be cheesy.
when you say Garfield, all I could think of is the fucking cat.
Yeah, I
Like,
did too for a second. Then I remember that the second dude that played Spider-Man after Toby, his last name was Garfield. So I was like, oh yeah, all right.
Yo, did you notice?
Yeah, all right, that
Yo,
makes
did-
sense.
Did you notice how John like did that psychology move? He kind of like got us out of like our fucking Giants fucking space for a second. He's like, yo, that was a slick move, John. He's like, yo, I'm sick of the Giants. I don't want to talk about Gettleman no more. They're gonna keep going in on me. Like that was a good move. But yeah, I gotta give you like I've been watching like a couple of shows now. Like Cobra Kai is back, season
Yeah,
4.
I'm already
I've been
done with
watching that. You're done with that? I gotta fucking
Yeah,
I gotta catch
Come
up.
on, it's like a 30 fucking minute episode. Like you can burn through that shit in like 2 nights, like really easily.
Yo, what's
I
that
watched The
ladybug?
Wire. You guys ever watch The Wire?
Oh, dude, The Wire is fucking phenomenal. I'm talking about like shows now. Like, did you see the Ladybugs movie on Showtime?
No, I cannot say
Not the Ladybugs, the fucking this shit, man. After Dexter and shit.
Ladybugs, wasn't that like a soccer movie or some shit back in the day with like Will Ferrell or somebody?
Yo, what's that shit I'm talking about? The fucking the thing with the Hastings the soccer team that crashes. It's on Sunday night. You guys know about it.
Oh, Yellow Jackets.
Yellow Jackets. Yeah. Have you watched that?
I haven't seen it.
Dude, I thought that was gonna be like a chick flick, but that shit is fucking awesome. You gotta tune into that shit. Fucking awesome.
The trailers for it look like it was fucking an intense show.
It's sick. And that little girl that plays this girl Misty, right? Like the older version, and in the show, I forgot her name, but she's fucking hot. Like there's something about her you just want to fucking bang. I'm telling you, you got to tune into that fucking show, man.
Oh,
man, it will be man.
I think we end on that note. No. Oh man, well, definitely a crazy turn of events today for sure, with the firing of Coach Joe Judge and the retiring of Gettleman on Monday, right? And look, that's it. The future is what it is. You know, it's gonna be a lot of debate. Listen, if we come back next week and there's still not a new head coach or anything named or a new GM, you know, there's going to be a lot of debates, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of names being tossed around on social media and everywhere else that you follow sports, that'll be going on about who could be coming in and who might not be coming in and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely going to be an interesting week or two for Giants football.
I'm putting my name in the hat.
That's it,
Mike. Although we definitely have to have the L sandwich.
Yeah, of course.
Situation. I will say, there is a real world possibility where
Gettleman comes back.
A new GM head coach comes in. And no, not that he comes back, but the players that are on this team right now, the big names that are on this team, actually play good football and turn this team around. And it'll be one of those Gene Michael, Brian Cashman, those Jerry Reese, fucking Ernie Accorsi situation.
I'm all for that.
There is a possibility of that. I'm not going to say it is, because we don't even know if Daniel Jones will play quarterback again, because, like someone was saying, the same, I think it was the same place that fucking, they said that it was going to end the season. They're saying that whatever that particular injury actually is, because they've been could be a career-ending injury, which would be heartbreaking for a multitude of reasons. You don't ever want to see, your guy or a guy get his career.
Any guy,
yeah.
Just because of just that's punching. But there is a real world possibility. We get the GM right. He gets good picks in there. We have 2 top 8 picks. I think 5 picks in the top 95 picks or whatever it is. And
I think it's actually 81, believe it or not. The first 81 picks,
even fucking better.
Wow.
You're not going to count on the 85th pick to save your team, but those first 2 in the top 8, those could be fucking franchise altering.
Listen, you talk about 5 in the first 3 rounds, man. That's impressive.
That's a lot. That's a lot of fucking capital right there.
You still got studs in the 3rd round. Like don't let that fool you.
You got to find them. It's just hard.
Players in the 3rd round.
Yeah, where you're gonna hit like 50% in the 1st round. You're probably not gonna hit anything above like 20-25%.
They can't fuck this up.
No, they can't fuck it up. They can't fuck it up. There's we got months to kind of dissect all that stuff. But just from me to you, always keep in the back of your minds that there's a possibility where Gettleman gets his vindication.
I like the link.
I'm sure you'll remind us.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
If Daniel Jones goes and balls out next year, if they fix whatever the fucking happens, Kadarius Toney, Slayton, whoever else, but Dexter Lawrence turns into a really, really good player. Andrew Tom, I will.
The list goes on and on.
I just want to.
I will say, until that day, one last time, for real, one last time.
No. Don't even do it. First of all, before we sign off or anything like that, guys, the playoffs are actually starting this weekend. We did this last year. We did it the year before, right? What are our Super Bowl picks?
It's Yankee season.
Now, you got to do the early. Hold on, but you got to make a Super Bowl prediction. I mean, I know we said stuff at the beginning of the year. And we said a few things. John, you're the one lining it up right now. What do you think is going to be the Super Bowl matchup for this year?
Sorry, I was taking my medicine.
I already said that you line it up, so
Yeah. I think he said lining it up, and I got confused.
Yeah, wrong day, huh?
That's Saturday. No.
Yeah.
Anyways, who do I think? Is Tom Brady really not going to go to Super Bowl again?
I think Green Bay is.
All right. This is what I want to happen. I want Aaron Rodgers to go to the Super Bowl, but I want him to lose. I never want a day of my life. I want the rest of my life. I want to be able to say that Eli Manning has more rings than Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees and a host of other fucking quarterbacks of his generation. Just saying.
Yeah, it is nice.
Yeah. So I want Aaron Rodgers to go. We've seen Tom Brady win enough. He's proved this point. It would be cool to see him go ahead and win another one. Plays against the Bills or whatever the story is. Maybe the Bengals makes a magical run, which I can get behind. Since he never did anything to me, so I could be a fan of them. But what do I think is going to happen? I could see another fucking Mahomes Brady Super Bowl.
Mahomes Brady. All right.
Wow.
Mahomes Brady. There it is. So KC versus Tampa in a rematch. Mike?
Yeah. All right. I'll tell you who I think's going to make it there.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, I think Green Bay makes it. Right.
All right.
And coming out the AFC, man, I think it's going to be Green Bay and the Chiefs. And
Chiefs, huh?
yeah, and Green Bay wins it. But who would I like to see in there? Is I would like to see the 49ers get there.
Oh,
right?
God.
And I would like to see the 49ers go against Tom Brady and the Bucks in the
NFC Championship.
Yeah, I think that'll be cool.
All right.
I think it would make
You're making us look bad right now, Mike.
I mean, look, not only is Green Bay the number one seed, I just think that one of these teams, either Tennessee or Green Bay, is going to get knocked off with being, the first year that only one team has a bye, right? You always see like that number 1 or 2 seed throughout history, the last few years for sure. They always get close to getting knocked off, right? And either they pull it out in the very end or they do get knocked off. You've seen it happen time and time again. So with these two teams literally only being the only ones with a bye, they got a lot of pressure on them to actually set the tone that that's something that you want to do, basically, rather than just kind of roll it in. So I at that point, if I had to choose between Tennessee and Green Bay, without Derrick Henry being 100% and Tennessee just always seeming to find ways to fucking win, I get Green Bay being a favorite, especially kind of in an open NFC where like the Rams, Arizona, I mean, any of these teams get fucking knocked off this weekend. So it's tough. I guess I'm going to say that Rodgers is just playing at that MVP level right now. I mean, I think he threw 4 interceptions the entire season with like 30 plus touchdowns. I mean, bro, he's having a year, right? They got their running game going between Dillon and Green. Like they're there. They're there. They look good with Jones, right? So like, they're right on point. So I can feel Green Bay. The AFC to me is a lot more open. And it's really going to come down to, I mean, I know you could say Kansas City, but they've been beat. They were on the ropes. They lost 2 weeks ago. They were on the ropes this past week. I think they get past Pittsburgh, which is going to give them momentum. But I'm going to go with the team. I think you guys already know who I'm going to go with. I went with them last year. And until that man loses, I'm going to roll with Josh Allen, my favorite quarterback in the NFL. And I'm going to say it's Green Bay versus the Bills. I think I said that last year. So we'll see if it happens this year.
Yeah,
how dope would it be if the Giants made this their fucking official helmet?
Oh, the black and the blue.
Black and the blue.
Black and blue. I wanted that like colors for our helmet for so long for the Giants. Have that black and then the fucking blue label. Woo, that fucking looks fucking sweet.
At least for like an alternate jersey, right?
An alternate,
You had that red one for years. Like you do an alternate uniform for like 1 week out of the year. Like that.
Yeah, why'd they do red? Why'd they do red that time?
I don't know, because it had to be like it had something to do with your 3 colors of red, white, and blue. Meanwhile, they're mainly blue and white, but so somehow that's how it became the alternate to it. I don't know.
So whack. But before we go, man, I just want to make a shout out to the listeners. The past few weeks we've been having like other countries like tuning in besides the United States and the United Kingdom. We had India, Canada, Germany. These are people listening in other countries. France, Israel, and now Bulgaria just made the list. That listens to the Giants podcast. That's crazy. I don't even know.
It was definitely a lot of listeners like visiting family throughout the world, and they got stuck in various countries.
We have to track where the Giants are on vacation. We're gonna find out.
Yeah,
I don't even know where Bulgaria is.
Bulgaria, Dexter Lawrence is in fucking Paraguay, whatever.
Isn't that a watch company, Bulgaria? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, Bulgaria watches. Yeah, like if you gave me a globe and you told me to point to Bulgaria, I'm failing. Like
Oh God, dude, come on.
Like, yeah, I'm terrible with that, man. Terrible.
Could you fill out a map of the states? Could you do the 50 states? Like,
no, I can't fucking.
How-
I'll have
how close would you
Arkansas on
get?
the west coast. I'll have Arkansas on the west coast, being all fucking sunny and 80 degrees.
it's close.
I need the one with the puzzles where you can just make them fit. If you give me a puzzle to fit it, then I would do it. I can't write them in.
Anyway, on that note, you got us our picks for the week and that new college pool, the playoff pool pick 'em, right? Mike, how do you get on that one again? It's on Play Action Sports. What else?
Yeah, if you're on the playactionpools.com, look for our site, the BBONYG podcast, pick 'em pool, or the podcast playoff pool, which is the one we're currently doing now. You get 10,000 shares. We do got to come up with our shares right now before we leave, Jules. So,
yeah, I mean, listen, there's one or two ways we could go about this. We could either like make an internal competition where we each just do our own accounts and we go at it this time for the BBO, or we could do it as a general podcast. And then, like I said, it's 3,300 a piece, right, to get to 10,000, and then
I'll do both.
An additional 100 could be whatever Jeff said. So it's up to you guys.
I'll do both. I'm gonna do my own, and then I'm gonna do one with you guys. I think since we were all in it the last time, we should do it that way and support these guys and support us at the same time. So just join. So we'll just divide it up 3 ways, and we'll get to spend our money however we want to here. We could sabotage ourselves so our individual accounts could win, or we could just try to win this thing. However you want to do it. Who wants to go first, man?
Yeah. So listen. All right. So wait. Out of all the games that were on board, right? I guess I said the most that I would mess around with, right, initially that I could think of is put me down for 800 on Cincinnati.
800 on Cincy. 5.5.
5.5. Let's do that. I'll take that one. That'll be my one for this week.
Okay. What about you, John? What do you think you're doing?
Did you just call me Joe?
John. Why did it turn out? Did I forget to pronounce my H and N at the end?
I think the end. Yeah, I think you missed the end. I don't fucking know.
I mean, we got 3,333 and Jules only took 800 out. So you can bet it all. You can bet.
We got a long season ahead of us, guys.
I don't know. I do 1,000 on the Buccaneers.
1,000 on the Bucks.
All right.
Minus 8.5.
I'm not fucking a gamble like that, So
minus 8.5 or on the money line.
You're asking me this question?
You're gonna go with the points. We put 1,000 on the points. Could you get paid out?
I'm gonna take your word for it. Yep.
Yeah. I'm gonna take San Fran plus 3 for
all right.
500.
How much?
500. Huh? And I'm gonna
how about you keep going down here, Mike?
Yeah, for 500 on that on San Fran plus 3, but I want to take the over in the Bengals game for 300 as well.
All right. Look at that. He's already doubling down on 2 bets, huh?
Gotta do. So do you want to add anything, Jules, or you just want to let that ride?
You know what? Why not just do let's see. So I would be at 2,500 on a loss if I did lose. Let's put 200 on Arizona money line.
200 on Arizona money line. See, that's all you got to do is just ask a gambler if he just wants to throw a little more action in there. He's like, yeah, I'll throw more action in there. Do you want to throw any more? Or you're just gonna let it ride with your amount?
No, I just have my heart broken by a Facebook ad.
Uh-huh. So I'm gonna take that as a no.
It's Joe Judge in tears. It's Joe Judge hugging
no,
on the
bro.
50-yard line.
Well, you'll find another job, pal.
They're advertising 92% off of a fucking Burberry cashmere fucking pea coat. 92% off, $154. I click on it and it's fucking sold out. So I would never have bought that.
And they're like, oh, listen, we have this other one that's like literally like right here for like a little bit more, but don't worry about it. It's only $300.
I thought you were gonna click on it and be like a dick or some shit. Like, oh, they got me.
God,
they got more than one again.
Being sold out. All the sizes are fucking crossed off. I'm like, what the fuck?
All right. Well, listen, guys, look, lots of explosion, lots of things to come. There's a whole new era of Giants football on its way for 2022. All right, let's see how this shit unfolds over the next few weeks. We got pools that we're all in. Playoffs are here. Enjoy. We'll be back next week. Hopefully, we'll know who our GM, head coach, or someone is. Or I'll have at least have a better idea by then. But until then, be safe. Bet like crazy on the new sports apps if you're in New York State because they're here. Bet into our pool. Support Play Action Sports. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Check out our website later.